Working and stream is coming on the channel before starting. Okay, we're live and audio is working. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to round 4 of Tier 3 of the Pacific Series here on Race Spec YouTube channel. Tonight we are racing at Mexico at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez in Mexico City. It is a really short track, quite tricky though, with low speed corners and the S section that will surely catch some drivers, and it will test the skills of the drivers for sure. We're gonna have a sprint race, which is gonna be the first one in the calendar. But first of all, before starting, let's just recap the situation in the drivers and constructors standings. For the driver standings, Powersight on the Alfa Romeo is leading with 50 points, followed by RD on the Ferrari and Deputy Deal Dog on the McLaren with 47. Sneakers Bud with the second McLaren in fourth with 44 points, followed by Any Minute Now on the Red Bull with 43. So 5 drivers split by 7 points in the driver standings, and the constructors McLaren is leading by 15 points to Red Bull. First place for McLaren with 91, followed by Red Bull with 76. It is a track with 16 corners and a really slow section, a stadium section, with the last corner del Peraltada, which was different before because Mexico hosted a lot of Grand Prix in the E80s and then came back in 2015, I think, with these new cars, and there's a big straight down towards turn 1 with 2 DRS zones, consecutive DRS zones with just one DRS detection point, one on the main straight and the other one between turns 3 and 4. But now I think I can introduce my co-commentator for today, Chronop Guy. Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Hi, guys. Good evening.
So, yeah, we're into qualifying already, so sorry for the delay, but for now we've got the AlphaTauri of Benny in first place, followed by Drowl and the Alpine, and then Deputy Deal Dog in P3. 16.1 is the poll at the moment, and a lot of people are actually in the pits, and let's just open the minimap and see which drivers are starting on a flying lap. Oh, and Cian Gold has left the session, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have him as a friend, so I cannot invite him back. And let's just follow the drivers. I don't think everyone is on a lap, apart from Sneakers Bot is about to end one. Yeah, it's a 17.7 for him, P5 on the McLaren. Both McLarens showing really similar pace. And I think the Red Bull of Any Minute Now is just starting his lap now. He's going into the pits. And so yeah, so first sprint round of the season. It's gonna be a 12 laps race, and then the order of the sprint race will decide the grid for the main race on Sunday, and figurative Sunday, of course. But yeah, and I don't think anyone is on a flying lap. Let's just check. No, a lot of people in the pits actually. Apart from Powersight, who's about to finish his lap on the Alfa Romeo into stadium section turns 13 and 14. 16 now, the Peraltada, and then up to the main straight. Is it going to be a good time for him? It's not that bad. P6 with a 17.8. But yeah, and in the end, what do you think about sprint weekends in the end? Are you a fan also in real life, or what do you reckon about this new format that was introduced 2 years ago by Formula One?
I mean, the new direction of Formula One is trying, to shuffle up the cards and make some different stuff. I don't know if sprint race is the right thing to do, but it's nice to see something new. I guess it depends on which race you choose to do a sprint race. Not a big fan of this track, but I'm hoping to see something good today. What do you think of this track?
Well, this track, I think in real life, it's really difficult to overtake because the track sits at almost 3,500 meters
Yeah.
above sea level. But in the end, for league racing, I find it a really difficult track and a really fun track because the two consecutive DRS zones will deliver some action for sure. And that's the main thing about this track is that there's only one detection point. So if you basically can't overtake on the main straight, you have a second chance into turn 4. And yeah, and it's quite a long straight. So in the end, in terms of setup, the drivers also need to compromise a bit the mixed section to have some straight line speed. Otherwise, you're gonna be.
So you're saying you have to have a little bit less wings to compensate that on the main straight?
Yes, yes. In the end, it is how it is. I mean, you want to be fast on the slow sections, that's for sure. But in the end, if you aren't fast enough in the slow section, then you're gonna be eaten alive, so to say, in the straights. And yeah, so I don't think the drivers are using really high wings. Although in real life they use really high wings, and because of the thin air, they could reach Monza speeds with the Monaco setup. So yeah, but this is really hard to replicate in the game. And for now, Benny, I think, is in P1 with the 16.9, still unbeaten. Drowl and NZ Andre are really, really close though. 3 drivers in 1/10. But yeah, about the sprint race, in the end, it depends on how the drivers want to behave. Because in the end, some drivers think the sprint is just not the main race, so they're not going to take any big risks. But on the other hand, if you're down the grid after qualifying, you have a big, big chance to step up your game and start in a much better position for the main race. So in the end, it depends on the perspective of the drivers. If you start P1 on the sprint, then yeah, you can confirm your pole. But in the end, it's not a big deal. Oh, and what a moment for Benny! He touched the curb in turn 3. A moment and a half for him. And yeah, in the end, if you start P1 in the sprint and then end up P3, it's not that bad. But for the drivers who start at the back of the grid, then it's a big, big chance for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky track because even if you're much faster than the car ahead in the sector 2 and 3, you have to realize that there's not much space and there's not a clear point where you can pass the car. So you just have to wait the main straight and then take the DRS and take the overtake there.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because you need to really take in account that the detection point is never on the straights. So basically, if you are faster through the corners, you're gonna be able to get DRS, and that's something that people almost forget. Um, but yeah, we'll see. And in the meantime, I think there was some blocking from Haas on a Red Bull. But yeah, power side. No, who jumped into P6? It was Alcatraz with the 17.6. And now we've got 6 minutes left, and let's try and follow someone who's on a lap. I think Andre is about to start one. Yes, he is. Let's go on board with him. Big straight leading into turn 1. It's a fast chicane, but really tricky because you don't want to touch the curbs too much. Down into 4th gear, short shifting up to 3rd, and then 4th, 5th towards turn 4. He opens DRS for the second DRS zone, and then into the first slow section of the track, which is the complex of turn 4, 5, and 6. It's really tricky to roll the car in this case, and also traction can be really feisty sometimes, even on high gears. Quite clean run for him. And now into the S section of turns 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, which is not actually really realistic. So sorry for the game of words, but turn 11 in real F1 is much slower than it is on this game. And now into the stadium section with turn 12. The airpin of turn 13 really tricky because you can really lock up the tires quite easily, and then turn 16 towards the end, and then a run towards the finish line. Is it going to be a good time? I think it is, and it is. It's going to be pole for Andre, 16.8, nice and clean up for the Williams driver. And yeah.
I mean, when you see the real race, you're like, come on, mate, you can go full throttle there. But then you realize it's much different from the game. So, it's not that easy in real life.
Yeah, because in the end it's just the form of the turn which is quite different, because turn 11 is much sharper in real life compared to the game. So you really need to brake or lift So you cannot take it full throttle, and you can actually do it, but yeah, it's one of those tracks that haven't been updated since ages from Codemasters. I think this one and Spa are the worst cases. Sneaker Spot is into the pits, and I don't think. Let's enable the
I mean, they're
telemetry.
doing the same races every year, so I don't think it should be a big issue to update them. But that's just me not liking the new games, I guess.
No, yeah, well, it's a common issue in the end that all the drivers are complaining about. Because there are some other games where tracks like Spa are really close to reality in terms of elevation changes and curbs and so on. I
Oh,
think for
like
the
in GT, there's Spa.
Yes, and the Spy is one of the tracks which is being in a lot of games. It's in Assetto Corsa, it's in iRacing, and it's completely different to the one we have in Formula One right now. But I think it's gonna be updated next year for the new game because Spy has made a lot of works to allow motorbikes to drive around there. So the track really changed a lot. Even the Eau Rouge Radillon complex got reprofiled a lot. So yeah, they must really update the track now for the next game. But in the meantime, top three stays the same with Andre in P1, followed by Benny, Droll, and any minute now. It is Williams, AlphaTauri, Alpine, and then both both Red Bulls in P4 and P5. 3 minutes left, so
We have 4 cars that didn't make the time yet, but
yeah, it
one is
is.
in outlap, so I think he's gonna make it.
Yeah, both Ferraris actually, and Adi changed, which is actually P2 in the standings. It's still in the pits. But as I said, maybe if you have any issues and start at the back of the grid, it's really good to have a sprint race before the main one. In Race Spec, and Drowl gets pole position with 16.699. He jumps from P2 to P1, and 2 minutes and a half left. So I think everyone is just gonna come out of the pits just now. It's just the calm before the storm in the end. I think Alcatraz on the Aston Martin is in lap. Yes, he is. Let's just follow him before the last run of all the other drivers. He's 9 tenths down on his time, so yeah, I think he's slowing down. Powersat is warming up his tires. Kickback Kiwi is not on a lap, so... Oh, and I don't think Alcatraz is going to make it because he goes into the pits, and I don't think he's going to have time to set a new flying lap. And El Tonki, with the 18.2, jumps up to P13. Let's see who's going to start a flying run. A lot of people exiting the pits. It's quite late. Let's see if they make it. I think there's an Alpine about to start a lap. No, Drowl is in the pits. He's gonna retire for sure because he hasn't got any time. I think the next one to start a lap is gonna be a Mercedes, and it's gonna be the Mercedes of Sia and Goat. If you see any other drivers being up on their sectors, just tell me so we can go with him.
No, I'm just following the Ferrari who's in his first lap, so I don't know. Yeah, 19.2, so he's last. Not a big lap, but he's gonna have another chance.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on RD Chance as well because he's P3 in the standings, so he needs to put a good lap in if he wants to improve his chances.
Okay.
Benny has just started the flying lap. Let's follow him at the moment. He needs to make up 3 attempts to get pole position, and let's remember Drowl is in the pits, so he cannot replicate or have an answer for it. Benny is about to end the first sector.
So
Power
the
side.
chance is starting his lap. He's
Benny's
got the traffic in front, but
yeah, and Benny's 1/10 and a half up on his time, and Power side has actually jumped up to P3 with the Alfa Romeo in the 16.9. Alcatraz retires from the session. Let's follow Benny because he's on a really good time. Hopefully he doesn't invalidate. Will he make it? What's the time gonna be? Oh, he's 4 temps up, so he can match actually Droll's time. It's gonna be really close between the two if he doesn't make any mistakes in the slow section. Let's just check what Benny can do. Last corner for him, for the AlphaTauri driver, nice and clean towards the line. And it's gonna be pole. Yes, it's gonna be pole. 116.631. And I think Andre is just invalidated, and new Dildog jumps to P6. I think RD, what's his time gonna be? He got his lap invalidated, so it's gonna start last. Oh, and Newell got disqualified for what? What happened
Wasn't
there?
even a good lap, if I may say. A lot of mistakes in turn 2 and 3.
I think the only one who's going to improve is the McLaren of Sneakers, but he's almost 2 temps up. Last corner for him. Well, he can actually challenge power side if he can make a good lap. 17.0. Oh, almost. P6 for the McLaren driver. And now we just need to wait for Kickback Kiwi to pit, and it's going to be qualifying over for us. So, Benny on the AlphaTauri in P1, followed by Dral on the Alpine, and then Andre on the Williams. Then it's any minute now on the Red Bull, followed by Powerside on the Alfa Romeo. Both McLarens in P6 and P7. Sneakers Bud in P6 and Deputy Deal Dog in P7. Phoenix on the Aston Martin P8. P9 for the Ferrari of Honest Crick, and Aston Martin in P10 with Alcatraz. Let's remember in Race Spec, the sprint race gives points to top 10.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
And it's gonna be top 15 for the main race and top 10 for the sprint race. It's gonna be 10 points for the first, and then 9, 8, 7, and so on. But yeah, now I'm just gonna have a minute break, and I'll be back for the sprint race. Ooh, we have some clouds over here. Are we gonna get any rain? Let's just ask the drivers, actually.
I hope not.
Yeah, me neither, actually, but let's just ask some of the drivers. It's a shame you cannot check the weather forecast as a spectator. That sucks. Okay, it's gonna be dry. It's gonna be dry for both races, so it's gonna be just overcast with some clouds. That will help because usually the lower temps you have, the better pace you've got. And now we are into our formation lap, and I'm really curious about the tire choice because everyone is on the mediums. Yeah, the softs cannot make it even if they're new. Yeah, would have been maybe too much, but you never know. If you start on the softs and there's a safety car, maybe you hit the jackpot, and yeah. Wait, what? Oops. What? Yeah.
Yeah. So, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, just don't start and retire after the start. Yeah, I didn't. I actually forgot the game
Yeah,
gives you
yeah, yeah,
an
yeah.
automatically a car if you don't join as a spectator first. But yeah, it's all good.
Are you also in? No.
No, no, no.
Oh, because you join as
Yeah,
spectator. Okay.
exactly. I joined before the race started. That's why.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I mean, I can race.
yeah. With the level of lag you could have had against Pacific drivers, I don't know if it would have been worth it for you, but anyway. Everyone going for the mediums then, and yeah, and on this track we haven't talked about it, but penalties are gonna play a big role because there are a lot of places where you can get track limits. Some of them are really dumb, but yeah, it is how it is. And I think Phoenix hasn't even started his lap though. Yeah, he's in P9, in P8, but yeah, his tires are gonna be stone cold at the moment. And let's see if we can get a good shot from the start. Let's just check which is the best one. I think it's Benny's the best one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do the first lap and retire in the box. Very slow first lap.
Or just don't start at all and you're gonna get disqualified anyway, so.
Yeah, but that leaves the car in the middle of the main straight, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's true.
I'll just do the first lap.
Okay, so we're about to start. It's gonna be, I don't see the lights. The lights are not going, what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, I can do, the broadcast from the track, just seeing everything.
Yeah, it's not a
That's the
bad
new way
idea
of
actually.
broadcasting.
It was actually, we're just waiting for someone. We're having connection issues somehow.
Mike Wazowski and Toki.
Ah, okay. So it's the
Only one
host.
missing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, well, Tonki left. Ah, oh my goodness. I'm gonna invite.
uh,
I'm gonna invite
so
him
yeah,
back. But what is
is
going?
that gonna invalidate the session?
Just
Because he
wait.
was the host, right?
Yeah, he was the host. What is going
You think
on?
like it's my fault?
Nah, it's not. Because just try
Yeah,
to
like what?
leave. Just try to leave. I'm gonna invite you back.
Oh, I'm leaving right now. It doesn't make me press start.
Ah, perfect. Just close the game then.
Okay. Thank you, Codemaster. Thank you,
Nah, it wasn't
eSports.
you. It wasn't you. Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm not saying it was me, but
Yeah, lobby
I
glitch.
mean, it happens all the time, so.
Well, at least you can. I will have. Yeah, we're gonna have a lobby restart, and yeah, so I'm gonna stop the stream and make a new one for the sprint race and the main race. Yeah, see you in a bit.